Afternoon,
It'll be the first
everybody.
time.
Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Saturday, and that means it's Star Trek time. And I am joined by everybody today. Welcome to Skep Talk,
Hi, everybody.
Functional,
Yo, yo, yo.
and the One Ton Hammer.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about episode 9 of Piccard, which is titled Hide and Seek, which, as I mentioned before the stream started, was also a horrifically bad horror movie. But yeah. This episode, I was not like it wasn't as bad as 4, 5, and 6 were, but I was definitely disappointed with it. As I said in DMs, the things that we came up with last week
We had better ideas.
were much better writing than what transpired in this episode. We had the culmination of episode 8, the Borg and her the Borg Queen and her mercenary soldiers all teleport into La Serena at the beginning of episode 9. We have the Romulan transporty thing used to get Teresa and Ricardo and Rios out of there, because Rios basically pretty much takes a hit right away. And in a move that is very unlike, well, it is and it isn't unlike Piccard. He disables the transporters so that Rios can't come back. But he's only been hit in the shoulder, right?
Again.
And so that's really, for me, that's very odd for Piccard. Like, he says he's only going to get himself killed if he comes back. Like, he's a liability or something like that. But that's not really how Piccard works.
How do you mean?
Like, his thing is usually, if one of his main people is injured, but not to the point where, like, if they're still saying, I want to fight, I'm okay, he's
usually down.
Usually okay with that. He wants everybody together. He knows that their strength is in everybody being there.
He also trusts their judgment.
Yes.
Which
so
very definitely is not doing here.
I was very confused by that. That didn't feel like something Piccard would do usually. Did anyone else get that feeling? That was kind of out of character for Piccard? Because Rios really wasn't that badly injured.
My take on it when he said that was, huh? He'll only get himself killed. What?
Yeah.
That the whole thing just didn't make narrative sense to me. And I think it would have been, if they want to keep Rios in one place or keep him out of the sequence, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to come up with a plot reason why Rios is involved somewhere else other than the I don't know. It felt thin to me too. I noticed what you noticed. It seemed strange and it put me off a little bit.
This feels to me like he's gonna get.
It would not be the most disappointing thing about this episode, however.
I feel like Rios is gonna get fridged.
Oh yeah, he's got aura of death all over him, in my opinion.
Because them basically keeping him out of the episode until the last 5 minutes.
No unresolved plot points.
Means that he's going to die next episode.
Easy to kill. Yep.
I
don't know. I'm talking too much. Other people talk. other people talk. I'm
Yeah,
talking.
functional. What do you think? I know you.
I don't think anything has been in character for Piccard, but then again, he's not really Piccard. He's a facsimile.
He's Android Piccard. Yeah, that's true.
Bio Android Piccard. Sorry, I wish I had more to say. I was bored to tears. Little tidbits of the technical choices, like from the mist transporter, which is just so weird and jarring. The sound that the phasers make is just, they sound like guns, like firearms.
That laser, the disruptor that she has, that sounds like a machine gun.
That sounds like a machine gun. Yes.
I was very confused.
These little technical things just kept pulling me right back out, and like I was already somewhat bored to begin with. I think though that giving them the benefit of the doubt, I think what they might be trying to show is that Piccard has crossed over some kind of threshold in his life where he's become the less stoic statesman and is now a weak, vulnerable old man, but he still has that savior complex that he needs to save everybody under his command.
Yeah.
He's still got that patronly, almost overbearing sense, but there's no logic behind it. He's lost all of that logic they build up through all of TNG of who he is at the core of his character, and turn him into a scared old man. The things with the kid, him as a kid or whatever, was also, that's not really what I imagined.
Now you're getting into the part I hated.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far ahead.
Well, we're almost there. The reason it's called hide and seek is because we have the
Don't do that.
the good guys. We've got Seven, Rafi, Piccard, and Talon down in the chateau, and the Borg have taken La Serena, and they and Sung is also there, and they need to get from the chateau to the ship. And part of the reason why this episode is hide and seek is that Jurati, they, like, before she was assimilated, made a emergency combat hologram, which I buy because we have emergency medical hologram, we have all that stuff, right? So I could buy that.
They've shown the technology before, yeah. But,
and pardon?
But he's like grunting in pain, and he's like flinching from getting hit. I just, again, these little technical things. I'm like, he should have been like taking a punch and just snapping right back, or not, or even taking the punch but not even like reeling from it.
Reacting.
Reacting, just like the Borg Queen shouldn't have. You know, they should have
headphones.
Sorry, BP?
I was gonna say maybe I should have listened to this with headphones because I didn't hear him.
He grunts. He visually, like, emotively winces, flinches. He spins with the hit. It's good martial arts, but it's bad representation of two characters that really should have been at a stalemate in a hand-to-hand melee like that.
Yeah, that makes
I think they could have played that a little bit better. Again, very nitpicky sort of technical things. You know, just as
but it makes a difference.
It really does.
It does make a difference because your head's in that space where you're saying, okay, I'm dealing with a certain type of being here. I expect them to have this type of reactions, and then they have a human type of reaction, reaction that's inappropriate. You just, it really is off-putting. I could not recover from that.
Do you remember the first time, Skep, that Worf hit a Borg?
Yeah.
And he was just like, I hit him as hard as I could, and nothing like that. Nothing.
Yeah. Or another good example of that holographic that doesn't take you out of the scene, even though I know you don't like the Voyager back in Earth episodes functional. When Doc shows up at the crazy like anti-government people's house.
Yeah.
And he comes down the stairs and they shoot him and he just,
and it just goes right
walking.
Through. Yeah.
And they're like, Lord have mercy or whatever. And he goes, divine intervention is unlikely. And just
but I mean, like I said, we've seen the technology where his emergency or his onboard hologram can become a physical entity, more physically interactive. And so we've kind of seen that the technology's kind of evolved a little bit there. Either that or, like you said, just have the punch go right through him. And again, but the idea that won't take you out of the sequence of events, the story, the fantasy, the whimsy of it all would just be to have that sort of notion of a little bit of a stalemate as far as a melee goes between those two.
I was hoping that they were gonna have him with the have it so that his punches are solid, because holograms can do that, where his punches are solid, but when people go to hit him, would just go right through. I was hoping for that, and it didn't happen. I was like, what?
They executed that brilliantly with Vision in the Marvel universe. That kind of combat, because he's kind of got the same thing. He can phase in and out, make himself denser, or completely, passable through.
Right.
Permeable.
Thank you. And if they did that with Elnor, I think that would have been super cool with these holograms. Didn't they do that with the Rios hologram earlier when he was dealing with the pirates? They like tried to cut him or something, and it just went right through. Why not do the same thing with the Queen?
That's why.
Yes. So I couldn't get past that. But can we get to the part where they're running through the fucking house?
So the other bigger reason that this episode is called Hide and Seek is because Jean-Luc remembers that.
Jean-Luc remembers
that he would, had to go under the tunnel or into the tunnels with his mom.
Was so scary.
And they chose to go hide from Sung in the tunnels, which on its own is not a bad idea, right? Like,
no, I'm totally down with them doing that in the first place. It's how they executed it.
And
ham-fisted and awful.
Especially with the way that we were introduced to the fact that Yvette was the ill one in the 7th episode, which Skep and we both liked.
Yeah.
Like, it really feels like they gave the script back to the bad writing team this week. Because, the way that they executed it was just like, oh, right when we need these quick, where do we go? Oh, I know, I'm going to have another flashback. It was like, what? Why are we doing this? We've already done this. We've already done the memory thing. He already has this awakened from the 7th episode. Why are
not just bad writers, they're lazy writers.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. It's safe. I mean, I really do think that there's that kind of decision making going on. I think they were just saying, hey, let's crank this out. And that's not inspired writing to me.
No. And
there also wasn't, sorry to cut in there, BB. There wasn't a point to the visions in the tunnels. Because at some point they get cut off. He's like, oh, the visions told me to go that way. Oh, well, we have to go this way anyway. And he's still following the visions. But when they get to the end, it's like, okay, this is where you got caught. You stuck your foot. And what? What did this get us?
Yeah,
it didn't even facilitate their escape.
No.
There's no grand revelation of any importance. Not that there was going to be one anyway, because the entire thing is just the fate of the future rests on Jean-Luc's childhood.
And the fact
Right.
that, like, I already
What?
figured out at the end of the 7th episode that Yvette had killed herself. And I was like, okay, how are they going to give him the revelation that she did it? But and then
Well, yeah, no, you make a really good point right there. Don't just jump off of that. Was anybody surprised when she's sitting there hanging
No.
from the, that was absolutely one of the, I was geared up. I was hoping against hope at this point, for a real surprise that she wouldn't be hanging there, that there was something else, something supernatural going on, something where they, somebody had a good script idea and they decided to take a chance on it. And I could get ready to suspend my disbelief and really enjoy my, no.
like,
nothing
maybe there's a younger Q.
Yeah, something exactly that sort of thing that would, entertain and amuse. No, you're not getting that. You're
Again, the first fake out with that scene where they just cut away before they reveal,
Yeah,
and only to play it again
what it was
later.
confirmed.
That's poor directing. You should never have done that. That's bad.
Right.
I wasn't so much
insulting.
surprised that was what happened, more so that they just showed it so blatantly on screen for a show like this. But I guess they want to get those edgy notes in.
And, like, honestly, I felt underwhelmed by Patrick Stewart's, when he finally talked about it. I was waiting for a moment, like, almost like in Family, when he's talking to his brother and he's crying and he's, I tried, but I couldn't stop them. I wasn't strong enough. Right? I was expecting that. I was expecting, I wish that skeleton key had ended up in my hand that day, to be spoken with tears. This is his mother.
Yeah.
This is, like, and they built this relationship up where it's very clear that as sick as Yvette was, she loved Jean-Luc desperately. And he loved her. And for him to be that flat after finally expressing it, like, or finally unlocking it, unlocking that memory.
But the whole thing, the whole angle with his memories, and it's so ham-fisted into the show that there's no relevancy.
Oh, Elwyn points out hanging in a wedding dress. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was weird that she was wearing a wedding dress. That shrieks psychosis to me.
Yeah.
Well, and there was a line in this episode that really hit me, and I don't know if it's because I suffer from depression, but when she says, where she's talking about how stars are faded, and that light that you're looking up at, that's actually the light from a dead star and cold and faded, like me. And then she says, remember, please remember that, when you remember me, please remember, don't remember the cold dead star. Remember, like, all the light and all the, like, the love that she had for you. And that really kind of hit me really, really hard. Like, as a parent who deals with depression, it's like, what do my kids see?
To answer Elwyn's question, was there no mental health supports in the 23rd century? Do we just lock people in rooms? Well, if you're Gaius Baltar, you do.
Right.
Which, oh my God, what was with his accent?
If you're Maurice Piccard, who in canon is already anti-tech, right?
Hmm.
I would not be. It's not too much of a stretch that he would be anti, like,
Modern medicine.
pharmacology or like, but because he was very much, Maurice was very much, this is too much, this is too easy for it. Like, he was very much of that old school. Like, honestly, if it hadn't involved space travel, he probably would have gone to one of those pastoral colonies. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I could see Maurice being very old ways, to the detriment of his family almost. And I think it was even portrayed that way in Next Generation. So I could see Maurice doing that instead of calling like a Starfleet medical person or whatever civilian
They call
medical,
doctors and stuff.
yeah, because he was just so anti modernness.
What his solution is to lock his wife in a room.
I agree. That was pretty fucked up.
And again, at the end of the day, none of this
No.
matters. I really wish, in fact, the reverse. I wish it never existed, because I liked the sort of fantasy, the mystique of not really knowing much about Jean-Luc as a child, other than the passing comments, because it especially done in this kind of a way, it just kind of ruins, or attempts to ruin, the man, the myth, the legend. You know,
Yeah.
it seems like it's just serving to undermine him as a character, as a person.
I
mean, we can all have our demons, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I also feel like it just it didn't feel very it felt very ham-handed. Like, they could have given us Yvette's death in the 7th episode and focused entirely on La Serena,
The
the fight
Queen
for
7, yeah.
we didn't need an entire episode on this. And I was not happy with the way that was done. And I was also not happy with the way that we now have a new type of Borg. What the fuck? Like,
Oh, Borg back better.
yeah,
Build Borg back, or
like,
whatever.
what the fuck was that about?
Build Borg better. I mean, it just. One of the worst episodes of TNG is when they neutered the Borg.
Yeah.
I mean, and now.
Do you mean who?
The subsequent episode where they kind of just made them. Yeah, they're disconnected from the hive, and like some of the stuff in Voyager where they're just completely.
Yeah, where Lore has a group of.
The Borg are now a plot device. They're not really a threat. In some regards, and I just
like
we can be a better Borg. I'm just like, oh my god, no, why?
We could be a nicer Borg. Like, how would that appeal to the Borg Queen at all? Like, I was hoping
there was nothing right about that.
I was hoping for. I was when she started when Girardi started to cry and use all the sad endorphins. I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna have a separation again.
Shame she didn't tell that to Jean-Luc.
Right?
Back when they transformed him into Locutus and he was crying. And sorry, like, I meant that the neutering of the Borg wasn't necessarily, oh, we could be a kinder Borg. It's the the fact that, like I was just saying, Jean-Luc got assimilated and he's now a part of the club. Everybody gets assimilated. They're totally and utterly controlled. Girardi gets assimilated and no, she's still kind of confided and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
No.
I don't buy it. That neuters the Borg. Once again, there's no threat. It's just a plot device at that
And
point.
why is it that Girardi is super duper like Mary Sue person?
Yeah.
Like that was bullshit.
But she's woman. Hear her roar.
Yeah, but I mean, like 7. I would have believed that more out of 7.
Yeah.
Girardi. Like what? What honestly, besides the shit that we actually saw in season 1, what does Girardi have to be so fucking sad about?
She's tubby and unathletic.
Like seriously, what is like? She works for the goddamn Daystrom Institute. Do you know how many people would kill to work at the Daystrom Institute?
Not to mention the non-humans.
She works at the Daystrom Institute, but she's not allowed to work on the project that she wants to work on. So she has to go to work every day and not do what she loves.
Yeah, that's everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like,
I enjoyed
better
my
than-
career.
no, I mean that's not everybody, but
It's better than working cleaning dishes as a Klingon restaurant. Come on.
it's not
Well,
not everybody, but it's not a special problem that would require such deep.
I mean, you could be cleaning toilets on a Romulan prison planet.
It could be the captain of the Enterprise too. So they're certainly really great jobs people enjoy. But
Joel, that is the one thing I actually liked in this bloody episode was 7 becomes 7 again. With her implants and
Yes.
all that kind of the aesthetic
It's
of
good to
7
see
has
the
returned.
implant.
But
Yeah.
she's still
Her
not,
specialness.
but she's not like we are Borg. She's still I.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
still
It's just
independent. She's
Voyager.
But now we're going to get to see how much of that came back, I think.
Yeah.
it was interesting to hear the continuation of the 7 story after Voyager ended.
I
She only
did
put
like
like 1 or 2 sentences in there, but it was kind of like Jamie went to bat for me. I was like, all right, the lady
I
captain.
did enjoy
Nice.
that
Yeah.
part. I did like where
Yeah.
she said, you
Little
know,
callback there.
yeah.
Thank you. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
Episode
Yeah.
episode 9 made me kind of reevaluate the entire season, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out how it was written, because we've talked about how sometimes things are written really well, and then sometimes things are really written poorly.
Yeah.
And it seems like the first few episodes of the season were written very well.
Mhm.
I have a feeling that what they did with this, and this is just conjecture here, but I have a feeling that they wrote the first few episodes while they were on break,
Mm.
and then they decided on how they were going to end it, and that's when they wrote the middle episodes.
Oh yeah.
So you wrote the first 3 episodes inspired, or 4 episodes inspired. This can we do this? We're going to do this. We're going to all these things, and then you said, well, how do we get from these 4 episodes to the ending that we want to have? Well, let's just take these 5 or 6 episodes and just draw the story out.
Yeah.
Something we can, each one could be 10 minutes. We'll just draw it into 40 minutes
Mhm.
so that we can properly hit the 10th one at this point. And I think that's why maybe 6 and 7, 8, and 9 to me were just kind of like, would you please get on with the story? Make something important. You're running around inside a mansion.
Yeah.
You know, you're transporting people into under Soon's control. You're wasting time running around looking for somebody and they're hiding. It's just a big waste of time. And
Yeah.
the previous episode seems like a big waste of time too. This could have been a 10-minute episode.
You're not wrong. You know, I agree with you in
Indeed.
principle. I'm not sure you get it all done in 10 minutes, but there
Either
was a
point.
lot of unnecessary crap in there, and it's Hammer's theory appeals to me. I got to think about that a little
It
bit.
wasn't
But
just
it could be
this
that.
episode.
Yeah, it
It's
really
been the
is
last few.
the
you know?
last several. Yeah, that's a really good, interesting point. I'll think about that.
It just that does feel very much like what happened, where they started off with a really good idea, and then they're like, okay, this is how we're gonna finish it. Okay, now how do we get there?
And does anybody else just quail at the idea of softening the evil of the Borg?
Yes.
That sinister nature of the Borg, of making it a kindler, gentler Borg. I've been laughing at Elwyn talking about a woke Borg or kinder,
Softer
gentler
side
Borg.
of Borg.
Like,
Yeah, softer Borg. But I don't want that. I want the Borg to
No.
be absolutely evil.
Unequivocally evil. Yes.
Yes.
They're
yes.
they're retrofitting TNG too,
Unequivocally.
right?
yeah.
Because this
Yeah.
happens before TNG, so all the episodes in TNG with the Borg are all now erased.
Yeah.
Oh,
Redconned the fuck out of everything.
I think they broke Condit. I think they may have broken the canon, actually.
They did.
Now that I think about it.
See, like when the it is a common theme throughout Trek to show the more, for lack of a better word, humane side of the Klingons, the Cardassians. Like in TNG, the first see the Cardassians, you're kind of like, oh, these guys are total pricks. But then, you find out a little bit more. They're okay. They're, different, but they're not so bad. And then in
Their
DS9,
families.
yeah, in DS9 though, you can see, there's some really corrupt shit over here, but there's just normal people who just want to live their lives over here. They do that kind of with the Romulans throughout the different treks. Like,
they can't stick to their guns. They can't write a bad guy who stays a bad guy. Even the Ferengi came in as bad guys in their first instance, and then immediately became greedy people who are stupid.
I kind of like the evolution and just seeing that they're not everybody in the universe is totally bad. But my point is, you just can't do that with the Borg.
No.
You can't rewrite the Borg because you're sad.
It would be like having a Ferengi that was generous.
And not
totally
influenced
against
by the prophets.
Yeah,
Totally.
right.
Opposite
Yeah.
nature.
But it's just it just doesn't make sense to me. And also, why is she's gonna fly to the Delta Quadrant in this time period? And how the hell is she going to, as the Borg Queen? Because we know that there have been many Borg Queens.
Isn't it going to take her like 300 years anyway?
No, she has warp.
Yeah, but
The La Sirena is certainly capable of going back in time because they've already done it once. Couldn't it go forward in time?
But here's my problem. We know that there have been many Borg Queens, and when the Borg Queen tries to impart this newfound idea to the rest of the collective when she gets there. Also, how is the rest of the collective surviving right now without, like, there have to be two queens, otherwise the Borg collective is not surviving right now, right?
Maybe they went to Cancun.
And so
there's too many questions here.
huh?
There's too many questions. So she's going to have to go. Is she going to just stay in this time period, or is she going to use the La Sirena to go back to her original time period?
That's what I mean.
And if she does, is it successful? Well, as the ship blows up on the way into the future, then
Is she right?
nothing happens, and the Borg are as they're supposed to be. But then what showed up on the Stargazer's bridge?
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. It's like trying to figure out.
That's a contradiction. It is absolutely.
How can you wiggle this to make anything remain sensical? No matter which avenue you pick, something's wrong.
You know what's going to happen?
Huh?
At the end of the season, Picard is going to be in his bed and he's going to wake up and it was all a dream.
No, you know what's gonna happen. No,
if
you
only
know
we
what's
could be
gonna
so
happen?
lucky.
Something's gonna happen where this whole journey through Picard's head is
Mhm.
part of the trial.
The trial, yeah.
It's part of the escape. It's part of how Q's gonna get his powers back, and then Q's just gonna go, everything's fine.
Oh man.
I had that feeling though. You touched on the trial, like that they might put this in as this is him.
Do you
Still
think they're
in the
good
trial.
enough thinkers to do that?
I don't think it would be a good thing.
I don't think they could think of that. I don't think they're imaginative enough to think that way. I don't think they do.
I think they are skeptic because a lot of this is just there's a lot of member berry stuff in New Trek. So it's remember the trial? BP, remember the trial? Let's put that in the script.
I remember.
Yeah, people will be like who said it before that this is what your mom tells somebody about Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, one thing has been answered though, is that the person standing on the Stargazer bridge is not his mother. It's possibly Girardi, but it's definitely not his mom. Because we postulated that a couple times. Who was the person standing on the Stargazer bridge? That new queen that we see with the funny face or no face. Who is that? And we thought maybe it's his mom, maybe it's Girardi. But it's definitely not his mom.
No.
Obviously, she was dead long before. So at least that question was answered to some degree.
It's got to be Girardi.
To the extent that anything is ever answered permanently in this seemingly infinitely malleable, retconnable. I don't know. I'm kind of turned off to this whole thing. This was a really disastrous episode for me.
And does anybody how the hell did Sung disappear?
He's Batman.
He ran out of the room.
Yeah.
He's Batman.
Yes, Sung made a couple of moves and appearances in the house that didn't make any sense to me. It suddenly he's just coming out of a door. I guess he's just there.
All the guys just ended up at exactly where the secret door was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that drove me nuts.
Tell them to search for other entrances, but
Like the simple fix. Fan out, find him. And as he's like walking, leaving the room, he like takes one last look at the room, and then he notices the dust that's been moved on the ground.
Or another guy finds it and radios him and tells him, "Look, I found something here." You do the Star Trek thing, Captain. You should come look at this.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Something. Just
Anybody have a problem with the woke stuff, or am I the only person who was sensitive to that?
I didn't see any woke stuff in this episode.
Take a step back. That's what I did, at least. And you know how sensitive I am to this thing. If I can find something woke and have it annoy me, I will. But kind of look how the males in this show are portrayed up to this point. You have the sword guy, I guess, which is my version of the lady captain. I can never remember his name.
Elnor.
Elnor. Yeah, I keep looking at Elnor. I can't get it right. Anyway,
she kind of looks.
He's dead. He was useless. We didn't need him. Just kill him. Rios shot in the shoulder. He's in love. What a puppy dog. We don't need him. Picard
shot again because he was shot before. Remember?
Yeah. And then Picard's walking around like Biden with a pudding brain, and completely ineffective. But the women, you got a super powerful Girardi, and you've got 7 of 9, and
they're all beating the crap out of men. They're beating the crap out of soldiers.
Right.
Sorry
because they use their advanced future abilities. So yes,
they're
not just soldiers, Skep, but ex special forces with Borg enhancements.
But it did take 2 of them to stab a guy. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, because they had to kill the straight white man, together.
No, but it took
two powerful women. The two powerful women joining together to overpower the man.
You have to kind of look at
it would really take 2 women to force a strong guy's arm to stab himself. Like one woman against an ex special forces guy is not it when he's got her arm like that is not going to be able to reverse.
By the way, just if you want to know what the number is, the difference in relative strength in most arm movements. I looked this up the other day. From an adult man to an adult woman, ceteris paribus, other things being equal, is 1.7x. The man is 1.7 times roughly in most of the muscle groups in the arm stronger than women are.
Yeah,
that's an amazing advantage.
Almost twice. Yeah.
And to finish the wokeness, who's the bad guy? Straight white male.
Of course. You have to have the villain being a straight white male because you're going to kill him at the end, and it's going to be a strong, powerful woman who kills him. Don't you know?
Who perpetrated a massive transgression against another female.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
his daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
apparently.
glad you guys are seeing it because I thought I was being overly sensitive, but
no, I saw it.
I see it. I roll my eyes and move on.
Yeah,
exactly.
I roll my eyes and look past it. Yeah, exactly.
For me, I'm glad that you do see it because I sometimes it just glosses by. I don't even recognize it in some instances.
Don't you feel?
But my mind is more technically, like when something is technically off.
Yeah.
Then my brain kind of gets jerked out of the like just yanked right out. And so
I didn't notice.
That's all I can think about.
I didn't notice the rifle until you mentioned it. And it's not what I remember feeling when I saw her firing it was, I was kind of like impressed by the gun itself. I was like, wow, that gun's pretty accurate and fires pretty quickly, and she's hitting people that she wants to hit. And I was like, that's a pretty nice gun. I'd like to have one of those. It's better than the regular cool phaser, you know?
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked it.
That's the only thing that caught me with the gun. I didn't think about the fact that it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, the sound was just the only thing that just, again, because it's a technical thing, just ripped me right out. I'm like thinking about it for the next 5 minutes going, what's going on here?
It's like a bang pew sound. Pow.
It also doesn't help that in the first 3 or 4 episodes when there was phaser fire, it didn't sound like that.
Well, that would be it would be a Romulan disruptor because
right.
they were
why would it sound like a machine gun? Even if
no, it still doesn't. It still doesn't.
No,
make sense.
it was an enhancement at the time where they were using gunpowder to power the phasers. Yeah.
The sword guy goes into the lockers. He finds phaser pistols, puts those back. Goes in the next locker, finds a phaser rifle. Doesn't like that. Puts that back. Open the thing, gets his sword, and say, "Now I'm set against those phasers and stuff. This will stop, everything." Yeah. Why didn't he just take a couple of the pistols, keep going, and get the sword? That way, when the pistols get blown out of his hand or they run out of power, then he can whip out the sword, and everyone goes, "Yeah, now I'll get." No,
that's exactly what I thought, Hammer. That was exactly my thought process.
Because when he gets the sword, he pulls it right out of the sheath, and I'm like, no. You grab it, you strap it on your back.
Yeah.
You make your little funny comment, nice. But you, like you said, you also bring the rifle or a couple pistols, what have you, and then you have that big reveal, middle of the combat with all the bad guys, and that's where the crowd will go, yeah, come on, Elroy!
Yeah.
Elroy, what's his name?
Elnor.
That's something that's missing from this episode, too. There's absolutely no humor.
No.
None at all. Not a quippy mark, nothing.
No.
It just grimly. That's a really good point. It was grim all the way through. There's nothing uplifting. There's nothing good at all. And here's another thing: when the doctor, basically starts carping at Rios, and kind of does this. What about me? What about me? What about me? And you're supposed to think was she's trying to talk him into staying there or taking her with him. And I put myself in Rios's shoes and I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Get me away from this chanting harridan.
when the thing takes him away from her right at the last minute, I was like, if I was Rios, I'd be like, whew!
Exactly.
Gracias, Dios, gracias.
We talked about how far removed this is from being Piccard in character. What about Seven? Because even in Voyager, in the face of almost certain destruction, she could still fire off a very dry, matter-of-fact kind of comment that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Different writers.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean that explains it. But I mean,
better.
I mean, the closest
the grim on grim just makes you feel dirty.
Like the closest you could get to levity is her going 50-yard sprint to the ship, a dozen Borg, and all we have is a knife and a corkscrew.
And an ice pick.
And Rocky goes, and an ice pick, yeah.
Their buddy comedy stuff just isn't doing it for me. They're trying so hard to, and maybe this is just me seeing woke stuff, alluding to the fact that they're a couple, but
yeah, I'm waiting for the kiss.
I'm waiting for the kiss, but all they keep talking about that I actually get the feeling of is that they're just super, super good, like hetero life mates. Because they're not going one way or the other, so I'm just going to assume one thing that fits again with the character I know of Seven. I don't know anything about Rafi really. So either give us something in one direction. Either have said something where they make the comment, "Oh, I picture us, on the porch with our feet up, blah blah blah." With our husbands long dead or something to sort of go, okay, we're going that direction. Or for when they're in the face of like certain death, just a quick peck.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going that direction. I wouldn't care which direction you went. Just pick
one.
Freaking direction.
Pick one. Yeah.
I want you to hear what the writers and some of the Star Trek folks say about the Rafi and Seven thing. In an interview with Screen Rant, Hurd said the decision to put 7 of 9 and Rafi in a relationship was simply because Jerry Ryan and Michelle Hurd looked good together. It seems as though the writers of Star Trek Piccard saw them standing near each other at a comic book convention, and that's when inspiration struck. Hurd says in the interview of this new relationship, "We kind of knew it was coming. Our writers are so phenomenal." Her nose growing. The whole world of Star Trek is that all of our writers and producers and everyone involved is receptive to the world, right? So what's happening in the world and what's happening to that, and they put it in the scripts, right? And I will say that we are all at a Comic-Con, and Jerry Ryan and I are just hanging out, and one of our cast members took a picture of us, and we were both looking good, whatever, right? And the photo goes back to our producers and writers, and literally you could just see them looking at the picture, and they were like, makes whispering sounds. It would just make them go, wait, this could be a possibility. So they sort of floated it to us, and we were like, oh, good. Michelle,
it
not sound like a
DS9 didn't take an entire season to go one way or the other with Jadzia and her former wife. We didn't have that much time when Riker and the androgynous or.
That's a good point. Why is this such a big deal?
It's not. And again, that's why I'm saying, Skep, you have to pick a freaking direction to go with this, because you playing it up like it's some big thing when it's in fact not.
No.
Yeah, this happens all the time. People fall in love all the time. All shapes, all sizes, all sexes, in every way you can. And this is just way too much attention being given to this, I think.
And sorry, Hammer, go.
It's the least controversial relationship you can
Right.
come at besides straight heterosexual. The very next thing is lesbians. Nobody hates lesbians except for gays. Everyone loves lesbians. So if someone's going to be a lesbian, it's just kind of like, cool. Just the average reaction is going to be, you can, as you go further in any direction, you make different reactions. But, like I said, nobody hates lesbians. I don't understand why this would be such a big deal.
Right.
Nobody would hate it if, like, come on, Miles and Julian. They were like, again, this is how I'm seeing Raffi and Seven right now because of the previous. But now hearing what Skep told me about the Inside Reporter, I'm kind of like, okay, so they're just trying to ham it up to go that way, but they're not going to give you that big payoff because reasons. It's That's why I think that when we watch this, we don't get that feeling of Star Trek. It doesn't feel like Star Trek. And there have been many iterations of Star Trek that all have their own unique flavor, but it's all like that familiar sweater that you put on and you're like, I have many sweaters, but this is that familiar one that they all kind of tie together and have that same feel. And this is so far removed from that.
Yeah. It is.
I think Stranger New Worlds has kind of soured my enjoyment of Piccard a little bit.
Is that
knowing that we're going to get a show that's close to TOS and TNG? It's kind of like, oh, so we're going to get something more to what I like. Well, why do I waste my time on this now if I know we're not going to get something better? So maybe that's colored my vision a little bit.
Well, I know that we've got one more episode of this season, and we have season 3 teased. So,
they just say 2022 for Strange New Worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
No release date yet.
But yeah, this is I don't know how they're gonna wrap up this season. Like, I had a better idea of, even before this episode was out, the ideas that we came up with last week would have tied the season up quite nicely. And what they've done this week, I have no idea how they're going to end episode 10.
Just a quick note. Strange New Worlds will debut on Paramount Plus in the U.S., North America, Australia, and the Nordics. I guess Sweden and Norway. Thursday, May 5th.
May 5th? Okay.
Which is a week from now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder if it's on Crave.
So, double dose of Trek next Saturday, possibly. Talk quickly about Piccard and then...
Yes. Just
dive into Strange New Worlds?
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, that is, if BP can find it. You guys are okay, you're American. I have my ways. Yar, matey.
Aye, matey.
Camera will find it, download it, and make it available on his FTP.
I have been.
I know you have. I've drunk heartily from your fountain.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Because I for one really liked what I saw of Anson Mount as Pike. I kind of really dug him as Pike. He's a pretty good actor.
When is it coming?
I can see why. Yeah, of course. I've seen almost all of it except for the latest season. I tapped out.
You're amazing, dude. I don't know how you
tried. I really tried. It was painful. But the little bit of it that was there, you really got that sort of feeling that I can see this as the guy that Kirk looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
His father figure, his commanding officer, his teacher. I saw that in Anson Mount's portrayal in the couple episodes that he actually portrayed him. It was a silver lining in the beginning of STD that kind of just disappeared after like 3 episodes.
Looks like it's going to be on Crave on May 5th as well.
Oh, cool.
What is Crave?
A Canadian
provider. Crave Canada. That is where we get HBO Max and stuff like that.
You get Netflix up there though, don't you?
Yes, but
different Netflix though.
It's
But
not
this is on
Netflix.
Paramount Plus. They don't have that.
So
You could have Paramount Plus, but
it's so get this. Because I've looked on Paramount Plus. If you have Paramount Plus in Canada, you can get all the old Star Trek and all the movies. But because the new Star Trek is broadcast via Bell Media, which is so on cable, it's broadcast by the Space Channel and CTV, which is Bell, and the streaming service that runs that is Crave. So because that is how we get the new Star Trek, Paramount Plus does not allow it up here.
they
That sucks.
basically hand all the American content to a government agency, and the agency doles out who gets to
Like
bid on what programs to show. It's ridiculous.
You need to get a VPN.
It's really
I have one.
Get this. So
I do
Paramount
too.
Plus, because South Park is on Paramount Plus, they took it off Crave.
Yep.
But they won't let you watch the new Star Trek on Paramount Plus because it's on Crave.
You know, this is going to be a silly memory that people laugh at 30 years from now. The way that we used to divide up content. You know,
the way that I laugh at.
Yeah, they're gonna laugh. They're gonna say, "Hey, look, people used to pay fees to be able to view content. Can you believe that? Yeah, content wasn't free. That's amazing." You know,
I think of it as the way I now laugh at the Star Wars Christmas special from the 70s.
Yeah. Or like
They took it very seriously back then. Today, it's a living joke.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, guys. So next week, I guess we're gonna do the finale of Piccard and the premiere of Strange New Worlds.
Stranger Things. I mean, Strange New World.
So thank you guys for watching. It is now the shilling portion of the stream. So please come by Minions tonight to join Harry, Skep, and Functional, and Wednesday night at 9.
And Frank and Skeptok.
And Wednesday at 9 to join Hammer and Jen and Terry. And Tuesday at 11:30 to join Skep Talk. I'm not sure if I will make it, but I will. Yeah, I will let you know. And it is Wednesdays with Skep this week. And it will be at the usual 12 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. I will be on a Twitch channel tonight, probably at about 9:30. I'm competing in a first of 10 matches on Mortal Kombat 11. I'm putting it in chat right now. And yeah, that's about all the shillage I have. Oh yeah, and Monday's coffee stream. Don't forget to. Oops, I did it wrong. Hold on, let me.
I just hope Strange New Worlds doesn't make me want to go out and buy a wedding dress, if you know what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, I hear you. I feel you. And a rope.
Again, because like we always say, that first season can be a little wishy-washy. We've seen it time and again. But if it's not, utter shite.
That's almost a tradition, though. You know, you're gonna have to expect it. If it turns out to be great off the bat, fine. But
yeah,
I'm gonna do the same thing I did with Piccard and give it a couple episodes before I make any.
The first season is gonna have growing pains, but if it turns out to be like Discovery, where Klingons show up with their dead encased around their ship, I'm gonna be very pissed off. Oh, that made me angry.
Yeah, these guys, they'll never think they can't disappoint you more.
Oh,
there's two things that are infinite in the universe:
hydrogen and human stupidity.
Hydrogen and human stupidity. Thank you. That was a brain fart right there. There's my own endless stupidity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it actually goes. And I actually lost a job over this. Tell you a quick anecdote to end the stream on. I used to be, when I was a person of import, and I was an executive, the head of IT for an $8 billion savings and loan, Colonial Savings. I had a collateral duty, and that was to come up with the quote for the week. And it was an inspirational quote for the week. And so I was mad at my boss, and so I picked up the Frank Zappa remark about that the universe is not made from hydrogen; it's made from human stupidity, because it's far more plentiful and so forth. And I actually lost my collateral duty of picking out the quote for the week. They never asked me to do it again after that one.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Oh well.
Well,
The
guys.
wisdom of Zappa did not go over well in Fort Worth, Texas.
No, I would imagine
in 1998.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for watching, my friends. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. And we will be back here next Saturday. I hope you guys have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
True.